This is a very serious problem, and I absolutely would not run the car like this. Welcome back to the Lemon Factor. I'm Chad, and today I'm here with one of our project cars, the 2003 Lexus IS300 Sport Cross. And in today's video, we're continuing with our turbo install, the CX Racing Turbo Kit, in which each video I'm installing and modifying some of the components that come with the CX Racing Kit. In today's video, I'm addressing a serious concern that I have with this turbo kit, and that is the turbo manifold and the turbo itself. Not in the components, but in how much heat those components are going to generate and how closely they come to other parts, other lines, ABS lines, coolant lines, etc. So in today's video, I'm going to address that. I am going to put some heat protection measures in place to ensure that it's safe and minimize the risk of any potential fires. The CX Racing stainless steel tubular manifold is just going to produce way too much heat to install it as is, in addition to the turbo. And I'm going to address that by wrapping the CX Racing turbo manifold, by installing a turbo blanket on our precision turbo, and by installing several other heat reduction methods. There are two different types of wrap. One that's made with fiberglass and another that is made with lava rock. The lava rock wrap is considered a more premium, higher grade, better quality. If you're installing the fiberglass, it is recommended that you soak the fiberglass wrap first. It makes it a little bit more pliable, easier to work with, so you can contour the wrap around your corners. However, if you're installing a wrap that is based on lava rock, like we will be installing here today, you don't need to do that. The wrap that I decided to go with is from Funk Motorsports. Funk is a well-known brand when it comes to addressing underhood heat, whether it's turbo blankets, exhaust manifolds, shielding, things of that nature. And I'll leave the link in the description below. Alternatively, PTP is another well-known brand and one that I have used in the past. Another brand is DEI. You can purchase DEI from Summit Racing. If you're working with the fiberglass, definitely wear gloves. Otherwise, all that fiberglass will get into your skin. The lava rock, not as bad, but one of the edges is a little bit tighter woven, and I am going to position this where the tighter woven is on the outside, so the part that you will see. I did as much as I could with the wrap that I have. I need to get some more. I did do a lot of overlap, and remember, when you go around bends like this, there's going to be more of the wrap that you need to use as opposed to any straight sections like this. So this has lots of bends. A couple things to point out here is on this side, if you can see it, it's all nice and clean. And that's because, as I had mentioned, what I was going to do was use the tighter sewn end on the outside. So that looks nice and clean. So does this. This one I did not. So I wrapped it reverse, but it definitely looks more frayed. And just from a visual appeal perspective, it looks much better doing it this way. These runners are so close together that there is no way for some of them that you're going to get the wrap continuously from the top where it meets the engine, right? Your flange here, all the way up through to the collector here. Because you can't fit the wrap underneath or through this, I will double wrap it, meaning when I get more wrap, I'll wrap this while also wrapping the runner next to it. So I'll double wrap that to come up here. So I need to finish this section. And then I'm going to wrap around the collector up here as much as I can. And then come down, same here, probably double wrapping this to come down here. The turbo manifold will direct all of that exhaust gas within the turbine side of the turbo. And this part right here, the exhaust side, is going to get really, really hot. When we attach it, right here comes super close to those ABS lines and to some of the other lines that are right up against the shock tower. So I want to make sure that we can prevent as much of the heat being released from the turbine side as possible. So we're going to add a turbo blanket. And I've used these on the past, different brands, but today, just like the Turbo Manifold Wrap, I'm going to try a turbo blanket from Funk Motorsports. Nice quality, just like PTP, which is the last turbo blanket I used on the Honda Accord. Beautiful stitching, very robust. Man, the texture and the padding in here is really thick. Funk Motorsports does have a very good reputation. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to try them out. This is the titanium color. They do have different color options. Looks like we get a keychain, and these two springs right here are what you're going to use to attach the turbo blanket. So you'll use one of the springs to attach here, just easily hook it together, and they'll, with the tension, hold it to the turbo. Some turbo blankets do come with just stainless steel wire, and that's fine. It's effective. It may not look pretty, but it works. Just simply goes right over the top. Make sure you get the right size turbo blanket. You want to make sure it covers as much of the exhaust side, the turbine side of the turbo as possible. For those of you who've seen my last video, we did create the turbo oil feed line and our turbo oil drain line. When it comes to those two lines, I don't know that it's absolutely necessary to apply some heat protection, but if I were to, if I'm going to, here's my thoughts. For the oil feed line, because it's coming across the engine, obviously the engine's going to be hot. Even if you're going in the front, you're going in the back, it's in areas that are prone to heating up, and obviously we want to make sure that the oil is as cool as possible. So I don't know if it's absolutely necessary. It'll be sitting like that. But what I did get is a PTP heat sleeve. So this is heat resistant, and you can cut this to length. Comes in different sizes, and it'll sit somewhat like that, right? Providing some heat protection. Alternatively, I could add some heat tape to this and then make it easier to tape it up. You could tape it just in certain areas if you're just concerned about how it's sitting over the manifold. or over the turbo. You could just heat wrap half of it. Same thing goes with the oil return line. I was going to use this. I actually initially bought some of this stuff for the return, but in thinking about it, I don't think I'm going to use this because the oil return line is an area that is somewhat susceptible to oil leaks. And what I don't want happening is, I don't want, if I do have an oil leak, it to be leaking within the sleeve and then causing a potential hazard, but more leaking in the sleeve and me not discovering it, right, until it becomes a serious issue. So if I have oil leaks, I want to know about it. I want to know about it quickly. I want to be able to get under the car, take a look at my oil return line and see if we have any problems. So I'm not sure that I'm really going to use that for this. Like the oil feed line, what I might end up doing is using some of the heat tape. What I like about the tape is silver in color. You can get the gold, the silver. I got silver. So if I do have some oil leaks, it'll show up even more so than the black return line that I have down there. So I think that's what I'm gonna end up going with. With that said, there's one area that I'm definitely going to add some heat protection to, and that is our ABS lines. There's a couple other hoses down here. A little further down, we have this big hose over here. Even up at the top here, we have our electronic connections for our oxygen sensors. And all of this is going to be really close to the sources of heat, the manifold and the turbo. So I've purchased from, again, Funk Motorsports, this silver reflective heat tape. So I have all these ABS lines protected. I have this, I think it's a heater hose. I rewrapped the OEM electrical lines. So this already had heat wrap on it from the factory, but I added some more. So we have those lines. Way down there, there's a drain line that will probably come close to our downpipe. In addition to that, I did add it to our oil feed line. So this is fully covered. And I wrapped the oil return line. So I think we're all set with our heat protection. Of course, I need to finish wrapping the turbo manifold, but I need to wait until more wrap comes in. In our next video, I'm going to install the manifold, have the turbo attached, put that turbo blanket on, attach our lines, both our oil feed and our oil return. As I install it, I'll probably have the wastegate attached with the dump tube. I'll then attach the downpipe on the backside of the turbo. So we'll get everything in place in that next video. But with that said, I think we're done for today. I want to thank you very much for joining, and until next time.